that's made by government is really to create the environment for businesses to succeed. So these are not jobs that get created by government themselves. These are with government putting the right conditions in place and necessary investments. So it's the public sector, it's our communities, it's various associations. They're the ones that actually supply the jobs that we're talking about in economic diversification.
One of the topics that they've been raising is the issue of selling Newfoundland Power. I've heard through sources that Newfoundland Hydro. Newfoundland Power approached all the parties earlier this spring offering to buy and wanting to buy some of Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro's assets. Did you have any discussions with Newfoundland Power?
No, we have not had, we've had an economic assessment process that went around the province, and we have not had any discussions in terms of selling off assets of Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro. This would be, I don't even know where that number would be, to be quite honest with you, at this stage. But I mean, we've seen, Paul Davis out there making those scare tactics that I would call late into the game. But, part of what we're talking about, the assets that's mentioned in our election platform, is not Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro at all. So, I have no idea where he's going with this, what he's suggesting here at all. But, the $200 million that we have put in our election platform is about assets that are currently not being used by government, or Crown lands that communities could involve. Ironically, just after the call that we had this morning, I had a call from an ex-government worker that said, here's a classic example of where we've had a piece of infrastructure that government has hung on to, costing them about close to $100,000 a year. They've had this for about 10 years now. So these are the kinds of things that we're looking for, kinds of things that we could repurpose and use for other industries.
So you didn't have a conversation with Newfoundland Power about?
No, we have we have no discussion with Newfoundland and for the sale of assets of Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro. That discussion has not occurred. We talked about companies like Fortis that could be in partnerships on things in our province, but not on assets of Newfoundland Labrador Power.
So what kind of Crown assets are you looking at selling?
We could look at, we're looking at things like schools, we're looking like office buildings and so on. If there's an asset at all that's not producing for the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, then these are the kinds of assets that we are looking to move out. I mean, we're looking at $200 million here of a $3.2 billion asset value that we have in the province. And this is over a 4-year period, and it includes Crown lands.
But if they're not working for us, how do you plan to sell them?
Oh, you see lots of examples. Like I mentioned one example in one case we have in Appy Valley Goose Bay. We had the Paddon home that I think that there's potential there to repurpose that home for other uses. It could be a housing project as an example. We have other properties around the province. Even if it comes down to just the land itself that would have value, that's the thing that we've got to explore. It's a value for money proposition that we're looking at here. All of those assets would have to be considered before the sold off, see what the value for money proposition is.
So you have spoken to Fortis about partnerships, but not about selling hydro?
No. Fortis and many investors, quite frankly, and it's not been in any formal discussions whatsoever. No dollar values discussed, nothing like that at all. We're like we would with any Newfoundland and Labrador company. We've had lots of discussions over the last 4 years of, our primary focus is making sure that we can make Newfoundland and Labrador companies successful. They're the ones that they're providing employment for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Newfoundland and Labrador Hydro, let me be very clear, is not on the table, Mr. Davis.
In Western Labrador, there's a lot of concern because Wabush Mines, the parent company, has filed a decommissioning plan. A lot of people there feel that if they do things like flood the pit, demolish the buildings, then they'll never be mining there again. They're holding out hope that maybe sometime down the road that another company will come in and want to start mining there again. Would you allow the area to be decommissioned?
Well, what we would have to do is certainly with the process as it's unfolding right now, we encourage the public to get involved there. There's a number of opportunities that I believe. I have spoken to companies that have shown an interest. I've spoken to the town of Wabush and the councillors there, and many residents. And they're concerned that this decommissioning would occur and there would be no future for that mine. But yet we know that there are companies that they're very interested in getting that mine open. They have an invested interest in that already. So I think we need to explore all the options so that the people of Wabush, they need to be included in this, could have a very firm and clear understanding that if there's a potential there for a future in Wabush mines. And I think the government's job is to facilitate those meetings and explore every single option before we see that mine finally closed.
So does that mean then you'd want to hold off on allowing any decommissioning until all those options have been explored, or how would that work?
Absolutely. We need to get an understanding that we have explored all the options for the future of the town of Wabash and their employees. This is having a significant and devastating impact in Labrador West today. And so we need to make sure that all those options are explored. If there's any companies that, that are interested in a future with Wabash Mines, we need to make sure that we kick and turn over every stone that there is possible. We want to see a future. If there is at all a future for Wabash Mines, we want to make sure that we explore all those options.
You're spending the last weekend in the St. John's area along with the other two leaders. What do you think it says about the races in this area that all three leaders are focused on this during the last few days?
We set a schedule in place quite some time ago, and it pretty much brought this campaign in its closing days right where we are today in this area. We've got some fantastic candidates. I'm here with Rex today at this particular event that we're doing here, Rex Hillier, of course, and he's in a very good, very tight campaign right now. And this is our schedule. This is where we plan to be, and I'm very pleased to be here today with our candidate, Rex Hillier.